The National Rifle Association is an organization of sportsmen. Over 1 million American citizens concerned with the conservation of our natural resources and the development of the shooting sports. But the responsibility of the NRA doesn't stop there. Training courses in home safety, hunter safety, and youth programs number among the many NRA public service efforts. One of the most important of these is the police pistol course. One of the NRA team who has been responsible for the development of this program is Bill Jordan, a name that has become legend in the annals of law enforcement. Now a regional representative of the NRA, Bill Jordan is a former Assistant Chief Inspector of the U.S. Border Patrol and is known throughout the world for his speed and skill with a revolver. Today, Bill has a message for you.
Well, hello there. I'm Bill Jordan, and I'm going to try to show you a little different kind of shooting today. The kind of shooting maybe that a law enforcement officer would have to use. I know you're all familiar with the basic fundamentals of shooting. If you wasn't knowledgeable, you wouldn't be interested in seeing this film. And I'm going to be talking about the handgun. This is a symbol and tool of a law enforcement officer's trade. Now, he wouldn't necessarily pick this. A handgun is it's a pretty poor weapon. It lacks firepower. It's difficult to shoot well. Certainly, if an officer knew he was going to get into trouble, he'd take a shotgun. There's the world's greatest tranquilizer. But since he wouldn't have a shotgun most of the time, affrays between officers and criminals occur under conditions of surprise, close range, poor light. This has got two things going for it, availability and portability. This is what he would have with him if he got into trouble. So getting down to the basic fundamentals of it, it's just like any other firearm, sight alignment and trigger squeeze. You start with deliberate, aimed, single action fire. Now by single action, of course, I mean that the weapon is cocked. It only requires about 2 pounds of pressure on that trigger to fire it. You extend it, line up your sights, squeeze on the trigger very carefully. Then when the hammer falls, you should be right in the middle. Now this is the way we teach someone to shoot. This is the way a law enforcement officer would like to shoot if he gets into trouble. But instead of that, since he is generally in a hurry, what he does is grab himself a handful of gun and stick it out there and shoot it double action, trying to do what he's done unto. A double action, of course, you do it all by pulling the trigger. You cock the gun, turn the cylinder. It takes 15 to 20 pounds of weight, pull, pressure on it. Your finger move. It's an inaccurate way to shoot. Also, of course, this hip shooting, point shooting, instinct shooting, whatever you want to call it, this is also inaccurate. But I'm going to try to demonstrate that to you, and I got to tell you before I start that you see better every Saturday night on television. You're going to see me do. Those boys don't ever miss, and I do. However, I'm going to use wax bullets so there won't be any danger. These are just little pieces of paraffin, such as your mother, your grandmother used to put on top of jelly, and when she put up jelly, just with the primer, no powder. Now to do this, of course, you need someone to hold some balloons while I shoot at them, and you need the most expendable person in an organization, and of course the most expendable person in the National Rifle Association is just most any member of the public relations group. I believe one of them has been volunteered for this. Would you come out, please? Now, this is a member of the public. What's your name, honey?
Bonnie Scott.
Bonnie? Where's Clyde?
Not
Look, you're not afraid, are you?
No, sir.
Well, all right, I tell you what. I'm going to use wax bullets, and I'll be real careful in shooting them. But I want to be real sure that you are not worried about it. See what? Just a little way. Now, I'm going to get you to hold an aluminum pie plate. If you walk right over there by that table and hold that aluminum pie plate, I'll shoot it just to show you that this is not a dangerous thing at all. All right, now I'm going to shoot it, and you'll notice that the bullet bounced harmlessly off the aluminum pie plate. These are... The bullet was supposed to bounce. You know, it's so hard to get a good aluminum pie plate anymore. Well, never mind, Bonnie. We don't worry about that. We got these balloons that if you, in that bag there, just like Santa Claus, my, isn't she pretty? I give up. If you'll hold that balloon, now let's see, the old-fashioned way of doing this that we used to teach was that you went into a crouch. Of course, this is rough on the crease of your trousers. Then you pull your gun, and with your forearm parallel to the ground, your wrist still, you shoot. Get another balloon, will you, Bonnie? Now, we like to teach in the Border Patrol, where I spent a number of years, that you just shoot like pointing your finger, relaxed, rest. I don't know how accurate that is. I never could get my finger to shoot, but you just pull the gun out and shoot. Get another balloon, Bunny. This gun always did throw a little left. Have to watch that. We'll get that out a little further now. If what you were going to shoot at was right square in front of you, you could go through all that, but if it was over here to the left, you'd want to just pull the gun out and shoot. Get another balloon, Bonnie, did you? Hard to get good help anymore, even if it is pretty. By the same token, if you'd want to shoot this way, but if what you're going to shoot at was at your right, you just want to pull the gun out and shoot. Well, Bonnie, we're going to... You know, I told you that there's a difference between me and the boys on television. Not only they don't ever miss, but there's one other difference. You're going to notice that from time to time I have to stop and reload. Come here, honey. You're showing a great deal of courage. Poor judgment, but courage. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold one while you shoot it. Just to show you I got courage, too. If you stand right over here, I'll give you this gun. You stand right here. Now, this is a real cowboy gun, and I'm going to cock it. And if you don't mind, you aim. Now, you don't do any of this hip shooting business, huh? I'll get a balloon. You know I got every confidence in you. I got every confidence in you. Whenever you're ready, you... Now, how about that? There she is, the world's slowest gun. Little Bonnie. Thank you, honey. She sure did dress up the act, didn't she? Well, you know, these television boys generally don't actually shoot anybody. They shoot the gun out of the villain's hand. I guess that's all right for them because they don't ever miss, because if somebody was pointing a gun at you, well, you'd be subject to thinking that he intended to use it on you. I'm going to try, though, to shoot an object about the size of a gun in a man's hand with this hip shooter. That's about the size of a gun in a man's hand. As a matter of fact, that's about the size of a barrel of a .38 Special in a man's hand. You better believe it. I'm going to put on these glasses for this, because I just wear these if I want to look at something. I'll stick this down here and take a try at it. Actually, of course, this is made for shooting at large people-sized objects, but I will try it. Well, I better reload now because I got a target coming up. It's a little difficult, but it's one that I got a lot of confidence in. I know I can hit it. It's a Necco wafer. One of these little pieces of candy that called a Necco. If I don't hit it, I'll eat it. I may find out what that tastes like. Oh boy. I'm gonna eat one of them one of these days anyhow. I've been wondering what they taste like. Well, here's one that does give me a little trouble. That's a lifesaver, and sometimes I shoot right through the hole on that one. I just most likely hit the hole this shot. There you are, right through the hole. Well, let's see if I can hit the edge of it now. Yeah, well, about all that's left is the hole. Now, that's really not an aspirin. That's one of them little ones, the big ones. It's got buffering added. I'll put it up there and shoot at it, though. I like to shoot at them because you'd be surprised how many people, instead of saying that I shot at an aspirin, they'll tell about how I shot an aspirin tablet shooting from the hip double action. Well, let's try it. A little worried about that shot. You know, I missed one of them once. It was in the fall of 1938. I remember it real well. Well, that's enough for the accuracy shooting. It proves that there is some accuracy can be attained shooting from the hip. But nowadays, in order to get anywhere in this shooting, you got to be fast. You got to be a world's fastest gun. I know 7 of them. The old timers were at a little disadvantage. Nowadays, we can test the speed of a draw right down to 1,000th of a second using electronic timers, but they had only 2 ways that they could test the speed of their draw. One of these they could just use once. Then they had to get another partner. But the other one was what they called a poker chip draw. Now, the idea of this was that if one of them could hold a poker chip on the back of his hand, I use a ping pong ball. I think they would have used ping pong balls, except that poker chips were much more available in those days than ping pong balls. If they could hold that on the back of their hand, drop it, draw, and shoot before it hit the ground, then that man was considered to be a real fast gun, and all the rest of them all kind of stiff-legged around him was real polite to him. I'm going to try this using blanks. It's a little difficult to get your ear and your eye together, so watch this ball, listen for the shot, and see if I get the shot off before it hits. I'll hold it here, drop it. Did I make it? Well, how far did the ball drop? To my knee? You got any idea how far it is from here to my knee? Well, we'll try that again. Actually, if you want to do this and you're not sure that you can, the thing to do is to cheat. By that, make the ball drop a little slower. Seem to be dropping faster every year to me for some reason. But I got a system for dropping it slower. I tap it with the gun barrel. That's cheating, but I'll show you how it goes. It's cheating, but it's impressive. You hold it. See, this gives you more time. While that ball is in the air, then you can shoot. Let's get back around to how far that ball dropped. Now, if I hold it here, drop it, draw, shoot, and hit it at the same time, I guess that's how far it dropped. We'll see. And keep your eye on that little ball now and see if I guess that's how far it dropped. Let's see if I can bounce it straight up one time. It's a little hard to hit a round object with a round gun barrel, but I'll just see what I can do by going like that, straight up in the air. Well, let's see how this looks in slow motion. You know, I seem to be shooting real good today, so I'm gonna try something that I don't believe has ever been done. I'm gonna load up again here, and I'm gonna try to drop a ball and see if I can draw and shoot 6 times before this ball hits the floor. Now, if I do that, I think it'll be a new world record for fast draw, and I'd like for somebody with good eyesight. not you, to see it. Now keep your eye on this, because I think this will be a new world record if I can pull it off. I'm going to drop this little ball and try to draw and shoot 6 times before it hits the floor. Listen to the shots and watch the ball. Oh, well, I didn't get but 5 shots off. That's just a story of my life. One of them was a blank. That's just a little trick, of course. Actually, the hard part is dropping it in that hole, or getting the gun out is no problem. I'll do it again, just let you see it go in. It's just a little trick, but it is kind of amusing. We'll drop it in there and let you. Now, you can cheat on this, just like you did on the other. And the way to cheat here, because it's so hard, you see that ball and that hole is about the same size, and you have to drop it straight in there. It's easier if you get your hand down closer to the gun. Now, I guess the closest you can get it is to touch the butt of the gun. I'll see if I can show you what I mean. You get to... Of course, that's cheating. But it works all right when you do it that way. Well, we might as well try this in slow motion, too, and see how it looks. Now, I'm going to try one more shot. It's a little more difficult. What I've been doing is just a kind of a convulsive muscular motion that don't prove anything because no accuracy was involved. But I'm going to try to drop one of these ping pong balls, draw, and shoot it with a wax bullet before it hits the floor. Just to show you that even if you get in a big hurry, you're still controlling that gun. Now, of course, this is dangerous. My foot down there. A friend of mine was doing this the other day. He dropped the ball, drew, and shot himself right in the back of the hand before he could get it out of the way. You'd been disappointed if I hadn't come out with one old Texas Wendy, wouldn't you? Okay, we'll try this. Well, how about that? I missed. Try it one more time. Got it that time. Barney, why don't you hand me that little old ping pong? I want to get you back out here anyhow. Let them see what it does to a ping pong ball. Isn't she pretty? You see that? A ping pong ball is tough. That could have been your pretty little old thumb. I think you ought to give her a big hand again. Well, that's all just been in fun. I hope you've been entertained, but if you've been entertained, it's time for you to listen to the commercial. Some 200 years ago, our founding fathers wrote a document that's been famed all over the world since, known as the Declaration of Independence. They fought the war of rebellion and won it. And after they won it, they wrote the Constitution of the United States. And just to be sure that no one could misunderstand what they meant by basic inalienable rights that they mentioned in this Declaration of Independence, they put them down as the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. This is what we know as the Bill of Rights. Now here is where we get all of the rights that make the difference between a man and an animal. We have the right of free speech, of free press, trial by jury, peaceful assembly, all of these. And the second of these, I'll quote for you. A well-ordered militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now this is a right that we're talking about. This is not a privilege. This is something guaranteed to us by men who fought and died so that we would have these rights, that we would be able to raise our children with these rights. Some of them we are in danger of losing. Maybe they're just being weaseled away from us. Maybe they're being bought away from us. Certainly, we can't allow any of them to be legislated away from us. Each one of these rights has the same importance. Where they came in the Bill of Rights, first, second article, third article, this doesn't make any difference. They're all equally important. Certainly, the fact that the right to keep and bear arms is mentioned as the second of these articles doesn't mean that it's more important or less important. They all stand on the same legislative bottom. And if one can be lost, this knocks a great big hole in the whole thing, and they can all go down the drain. They have the same authority. Now, this right to keep and bear arms is probably the most important of all the rights. Without it, we would have no way of defending the others. It is a right. Certainly, it's a right that shouldn't be abused. Any abuse should be punished quickly, surely, and severely. But just remember this. This right to keep and bear arms not only is your right to defend your person, your right to defend your country, but much more than that. It gives to you and your children the right to enjoy the shooting sports. Whether your children enjoy them as you did is going to be up to you. Let's don't lose any of these rights. Let's keep them all.